Datuk Sri SHAFIE APDAL remanded for 4 days. Encroachment by Vietnamese fishing boats becoming more rampant. Thanks for choosing the evening edition of News on 2 with me, RENEE FOONG. Datuk Sri SHAFIE APDAL, who turns 60 today, has been remanded for 4 days to assist in investigations into the alleged skimming of 1.5 billion ringgit meant for rural development projects in Sabah. Datuk Sri SHAFIE, who is the former Rural and Regional Development Minister, was detained by the MACC yesterday. Datuk Sri SHAFIE arrived in an ambulance at the Kota Kinabalu courthouse at about 2:15 p.m. today. He was admitted to the Queen Elizabeth Hospital for overnight observation due to high blood pressure after his arrest. Datuk Sri SHAFIE was the 11th individual detained by graft busters over the issue. Earlier, 2 of his brothers had also been detained over the probe. The MACC is expected to make more arrests as it shifts through about 350 projects that were given to some 60 companies between 2009 and 2015. The Commission has so far frozen 170 million ringgit in bank accounts and assets of some of the companies involved. There has been an increase in cases of fishermen from Vietnam intruding into the east coast of the Malaysian peninsula and Sarawak this year. According to the Malaysian Maritime Enforcement Agency (MMEA), the record is based on recent reports which cited an increase in arrests of Vietnamese fishermen in the waters of Kelantan, Terengganu, Pahang and Tanjung Sedili, Johor in the peninsula, and Kuching, Miri and Bintulu in Sarawak. MMEA Director General Datuk Zulkifli Abu Bakar said the agency had so far seized 102 fishing boats from Vietnam this year, compared to 62 and 65 in 2015 and 2016 respectively.
Kita dah tangkap 105 ya, dalam tempoh 3 bulan terakhir, iaitu Ogos, September, Oktober. Akhir hari ini kita telah menangkap sebanyak 42 bot nelayan Vietnam.
Datuk Zulkifli said these fishermen had been using gill nets which are detrimental to the ecosystem, adding that they had also planned out various ways to escape from the authorities. To counter this, he said the agency was in need of a bigger vessel which would be able to ferry at least 6 petrol boats and an unmanned aerial vehicle UAV. Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Sri Dr. Ahmad Zahid Hamidi's visit to the Cox's Bazar camp in Bangladesh to assess the situation of Rohingya refugees gives a clear message that Malaysia is serious about the issue and wants a long-term solution to the ethnic persecution in the Rakhine region of Myanmar. A UNHCR officer at Kutu Palong camp said that it was not often that a leader of any country would visit the refugee camp to witness the sufferings of the refugees. Thus, the Deputy Premier's visit has caught the attention of journalists from around the world. Datuk Sri Dr. Ahmad Zahid's visit also attracted the attention of those seeking refuge at the camp, as Malaysia has always been well known as a country that has continuously provided aid to them. Known for being vocal with the Rohingya issue, Datuk Sri Dr. Ahmad Zahid has described the state of the camp as being in a dire condition and announced that Malaysia will build a field hospital to allow camp dwellers to get better health care. He also announced that the National Security Council (NSC) will coordinate aid sent to the camp from Malaysia. There is also a possibility of placing an NSC representative in Bangladesh to the humanitarian and welfare attaché to carry out Malaysia's commitment towards the Rohingya. Torrential rains and strong winds that continued to batter Miri in Sarawak early today have caused massive havoc in the city, uprooting trees and damaging buildings and homes. The strong winds that bellowed at around 5 a.m. also tore off the roofs of Miri Central Police Station as well as the city's fish market. According to Miri Fire Chief Superintendent Lau Po Kyong, fire personnel cleared all fallen trees around the area, especially those that were obstructing traffic. Lau advised the public against standing under trees during heavy rains to avoid any untoward incidents. He, however, assured that the fire department were always monitoring the situation and were prepared to face any emergency cases. Meanwhile, a falling tree crushed a lorry heading towards Miri City from Lutong yesterday evening. However, the lorry driver and its conductor escaped uninjured. Superintendent Lau said 7 firemen rushed over the scene of the accident. The team sought the fallen tree from the lorry and began the cleanup operation of the area. A Miri City Council worker who was also injured during the operations was rushed to the hospital for treatment. A man died after he lost control of the motorcycle he was riding and crashed along kilometer 22.3 Second Link Expressway, Johor Bahru, around 11:53 p.m. yesterday. Iskandar Putri District Police Chief Superintendent Nur Hashim Muhammad said during the incident, the victim, aged 31, was on his way from Perling to Galang Patah. He later lost control and crashed into a metal road barricade before being thrown into the middle of the barricade. The motorcyclist died on the scene due to severe injuries. The body was brought to Temenggung Sri Maharaja Tun Ibrahim Hospital in Kulai for post-mortem. The case is being investigated under Section 41, Subsection 1 of the Road Transport Act 1987. The public are advised to avoid visiting waterfalls as it is easy to fall victim to the column of water phenomenon, especially during the rainy spell. In light of the current school holidays, the Kuala Kubu Baru Fire and Rescue Department has issued a statement reminding parents to be very careful when they go for picnics at waterfalls and rivers. Kuala Kubu Baru Fire and Rescue Department Chief Kamil Hamadan said the column of water could strike at any time, and in most cases, like the tragedy in Langkawi on October 12, the picnickers would be caught off guard when the strong currents strike. The department stressed that the public should not be misled that the clear and calm currents at waterfalls were safe. Kamil said even if there was no rain at the waterfall, the phenomenon can be triggered on the upper waterfall of river streams. He also advised the public to look out for other signs, such as any movements of rocks and boulders in the river, foamy waters, and unusual number of tree branches or rubbish flowing down from the upper waterfall or river stream. Bank Negara foreign reserves up to $200 million. Details coming up. The government is always finding for ways to raise the income of the people, especially the lower and middle income groups, in line with efforts to make Malaysia a high-income nation. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Najib Tun Razak said the efforts of the government began to see results when the income of those in the B40 low-income group and M40 middle-income group increased significantly. In his latest posting in NajibRazak.com blog pertaining to the income of the people, the Prime Minister said the poverty rate in the country continued to decline. He added that the average income per household of the B40 group had increased by 76% in 2014 since 2009, while for the M40 group, the average income per household rose nearly 60% during the same period. In terms of average income of workers in all sectors, Datuk Seri Najib said a survey conducted by the Department of Statistics revealed that income rose by 20% in 2016 within 3 months previously. The Prime Minister said although the increase was due to the success of government initiatives such as raising income in rural areas and minimum wage raise, the hard work and enthusiasm of the people to improve their income was the biggest contributor. Bank Negara's international reserves rose 200 million ringgit to $101.4 billion on October 13th. According to the central bank on Friday, the reserves had increased from the $101.2 billion as at September 29th. The reserve's position is sufficient to finance 7.5 months of retained imports and is 1.1 times the short-term external debt. In ringgit terms, the reserves increased by 1 billion to 428.7 billion ringgit from 427.7 billion ringgit during the two-week period. Foreign currency reserves comprise the biggest portion of reserves at 94.7 billion US dollars, while IMF reserves position was at 800 million US dollars. Special drawing rights were at 1.2 billion US dollars, gold was at 1.5 billion US dollars, while other reserve assets came in at 3.2 billion US dollars. According to Bank Negara's data, total assets as at October 13th stood at 454.38 billion ringgit as opposed to 457.5 billion ringgit as at September 29th. The Malacca state government has instructed owners of private rental homes to ensure that their properties are in perfect condition before renting them out. Chief Minister Datuk Sri Idris Harun also urged the owners to charge a reasonable rent for the houses according to their condition. There have been reports of owners renting out houses that were in dilapidated condition, and Datuk Sri Idris said he has asked local authorities to identify and monitor these homes to ensure the owners repair them.
Jadi kalau rumah itu terlalu daif, sehingga tidak mempunyai bilik air yang sempurna dan tidak mempunyai perlindungan yang sempurna, saya ingat rumah-rumah macam itu tidak dibenarkan untuk disewa.
Speaking to reporters during an event in Sungai Udang, Melaka, Datuk Sri Idris added that the state government cannot repair the properties as they were private properties. The Malaysia External Trade Development Corporation, MATRADE, is urging the young entrepreneurs, namely fresh graduates, to venture into the footwear business due to the immense growth potential of the industry. MATRADE Deputy Chief Executive Officer Datuk Wan Latif Wan Musa is confident that the local youth, armed with their own ideas which are relevant with current trends, will be able to penetrate the international market.
We would like to see more and more food manufacturers to go into international market. We would like to see young entrepreneurs, those new graduates, to come into the footwear business. The youngsters these days, they are very creative, they are very up to date, they are very innovative, alert about the international market.
Datuk Wan Latif was speaking to reporters after the launch of the Spring and Summer Shoe Design Collection 2018 by local brand Notting Hills. In 2016, Malaysia's total footwear exports amounted to 715.5 million ringgit, a 22.4% increase from the previous year. Singapore has proven to be a major export destination for Malaysian-made shoes in the same period, with total exports increased by 5.8% to 205.5 million ringgit. This is followed by Indonesia with 46.3 million and United Kingdom at 43.9 million ringgit. Coming up in sports, KJ to review bid for 2022 Commonwealth Games. Olympic Council of Malaysia President Tunku Tan Sri Imran Tuanku Jaafar has confirmed that there is no new development or results regarding the doping issue involving two national athletes. He is disappointed by the attitude of some athletes in regards to the danger of using illegal drugs to enhance their performances.
Well, doping generally is bad. It is inexcusable. No one can get away with it. Unfortunately, there are many of our athletes are very naive, very careless, and don't realize that they are taking products that have banned substances in it.
The adverse analytical finding AAF carried out by the World Anti-Doping Agency accredited laboratory in New Delhi, India, found the presence of a banned substance in the A sample of two Malaysian athletes during the August SEA Games in Kuala Lumpur. Sample B from the athletes have already been sent to the lab on October 11th and are currently undergoing tests. Youth and Sports Minister Khairi Jamaluddin will review the bid for the 2022 Commonwealth Games and discuss the matter with Prime Minister Datuk Sri Najib Tun Razak. Having successfully organised the 29th SEA Games in August, he said Malaysia needed to look at bigger sports games. Speaking at a news conference in Putrajaya today, he said the Olympic Council of Malaysia, MOM, had an early stand that Malaysia would not make a bid, but he wished to review the matter as Malaysia was able to organise the sports. The minister said the Olympic Games may be too big for the time being and the Asian Games will cost too much unless the Olympic Council of Asia reduces the cost of organising it, and the one which can still be considered is the Commonwealth Games. Khairi was commenting on MOM's statement that Malaysia would not bid for the 2022 Commonwealth Games, even though the bidding date had been extended further to November 30th. In 1998, Malaysia became the first Asian country to host the Commonwealth Games. And that concludes this evening's edition of News on 2. In our top story, Sabah opposition leader SHAFIE APDAL remanded 4 days for graft probe. We'll be back with more updates at 12:30 tomorrow afternoon. Till then, I'm RENEE LORETTA FOONG, leaving you with these interesting visuals of a couple in the U.S. state of Nebraska who gave a whole new meaning to Hump Day as they had a camel dressed in cocktail attire at their wedding. Zebedia the camel got the invite to Marcus and Ruth Brown's nuptials on Wednesday. Have a good night. Thanks for watching.